Hey everyone, how's it going? Surprising, kind of, that there's a collab already. At least that's what I think. So, today there is obviously a new update, as you know. Another collab. Feels like collabs have been a lot more frequent with this game, if I'm honest, which is a good and bad thing, because the bad thing mostly being that if you miss out on any of the collab stuff, then you're probably not going to get it ever again unless there's a rerun, which might be a few years down the line or anything. We still haven't gotten a rerun of like ReZero that hasn't had a rerun yet and has came out years ago, and it's a problem. But anyways, I think this collab looks pretty interesting to me. I don't really know anything about the anime or anything, but I know I've heard people talk about it. They said they like it and they've been watching it, because some people, when they see a collab release for this game, they go and check out the anime so they know more about it. I'm not really like that, but let's have a look at what is in part 1 at the moment. I've been farming the event since the maintenance ended, so I've been trying to get those tickets. It's kind of difficult to get points at the moment though. At the moment I'm getting 190 points per stage clear, which isn't really that much, but I have managed to get most of the tickets, at least what I can get. Let's have a look at the unit first. Lelouch does look pretty cool, and I can see some potential with him. I haven't looked too much into his kit, but I did see quite a lot of interesting things, and that sprite, by the way, is probably one of the biggest sprites in the game. It's probably not as big as like AOG Lily or maybe even Murren, I don't know, but it is pretty cool, and these types of units are kind of unique to this game. We don't really get units that look like this, so it's kind of unique in a way. I do like that. Basically, he's just doing a T-pose. That's what I thought when I saw it. That's the first thing I thought of. Just T-pose. So, machine type is going to help for survivability, kind of, because usually in Arena, most DPS units are going to have Human Slayer, or most tanks are a human type. So, the fact that he's a machine, kind of like Murren's a machine, and why he's so tanky is because he's a machine. It helps with the survivability, because you're not going to be vulnerable to Human Slayer at all, so that's good. So let's have a look. One thing I'm seeing right now is weakness to illness is a problem. If he's going to be a tank, then you're going to need to increase this, because weakness just means he can't heal at all, which is a big problem. And similar to Murren also has weakness to thunder, I believe, and Lelouch also has -30 to thunder, which, let's hope he can still tank thunder attacks, because Murren's pretty vulnerable to thunder magic. We'll see. I don't think Lelouch is going to be a full tank unit, but at least what I've seen, he looks like a good support, tank, and DPS at the same time, so could be good. I definitely want to try him out. Stats, pretty good stats overall. Interesting stats. High HP, pretty much all the stats are good. I can't really say much about that. None of the stacks are below 1000 apart from MP, so that's good. High intelligence, he does have Thaumaturgy Ring Plus, I believe, in his kit, so that's going to help. And they did do an improvement in this update, where certain units that had high intelligence, that were physical DPS units like Nael, she wasn't really using her physical attacks on auto. She wasn't using her skills on auto, but they changed that for her and V and Roy, those 3 units. So that's really good, because those units are now going to be technically stronger, and I think because of that change, units like Nael are going to be very good in Arena now. So that's why I put her on my defense team, because I think she's going to be very good now. Definitely a lot better. So Lelouch does have high strength, so I guess you don't really need to worry about that. Resistance to stun, resistance to curse is good to see. Not much else to say about the stats, don't need to talk too much about that. +30 to dark is good. Now the skills, I think the skills are okay. When I saw them in a video, his skill 2 looked pretty good, Skill 3 is decent too, because the hit count on skill 3 is pretty good. Skill 2 is pretty fast. Skill 1 is a bit slow for me. It's just way too slow, so I think the DPS for a skill 1 is just going to be bad. Skill 2 and 3 could have some DPS, but the problem is I think his damage cap, what I've seen so far, is it's not very high damage cap, which it makes sense in a way because he is a support slash tank as well, so he's not going to be a full DPS unit. Kind of like Nael, who's good DPS, good damage, but her DPS compared to someone like Bradley is just not that high. But it doesn't matter because she plays a different role, you know. So Lelouch is probably going to be a similar thing like that, where he's going to be a good supportive tank damage unit, but DPS isn't going to be there. So DPS isn't everything. Having good damage and good supportive skills and being a tank lasts a long time in this game, so he could have potential to last a very long time. These skills don't really say too much about, they're just dark attack skills, so he is going to be a dark DPS unit. He could be a DPS, either dual wield or single wield because of his trait, which we'll look at in a second. Special is a dark attack to all enemies. It's okay, the hit counts are not crazy. He isn't really going to be a full special DPS unit like Nael, who was amazing for special DPS. So yeah, these skills, there's nothing really special about these. Traits gets more interesting though. Trait 1's mostly focused on the damage cap and damage, I think. And trait 2's mostly a supportive trait. So trait 1, more damage and damage cap, physical attacks is nice. This is going to apply if you have single wield or dual wield, so that's good. You could make him a dual wield DPS if you really wanted to, but I don't know if that's a viable option. It could be, like, if you wanted to, you could just fully support him and trying to make his damage cap for dual wield as much as possible to make him a good DPS, but he's going to lose out on a lot of survivability from being single wield, because when a unit is single wield, they usually have a lot more stats, in my opinion, and they survive a lot because you can just put on an armor and more damage reduction is useful. Special damage and damage cap as well. And when equipped with only one weapon, you get 29,000 damage cap instead. So here's the thing: is 12,000 damage cap when you have 2 weapons equipped. Basically, that's what that means. And when you have 1 weapon equipped, then it's 29,000 instead of 12,000. It doesn't add them together. That's what I think, because it says instead. So it kind of means he can play both roles, either single wield or dual wield unit, but at least what I've looked at him so far is that he's probably going to be a better single wield, in my opinion, but I don't know. I haven't seen any gameplay of him yet, only the video that Ada's posted, that's really it, so still my first impressions kind of as well. If remaining MP is at least 10, then physical slash magic damage taken minus 40%. This is very good, because it's physical slash magic, so taking less magic damage is going to be very good in guild versus guild content, because mages are pretty good there. If you can get them to work, they could be pretty good there, so the fact that this is physical and magic is very nice. When cutting damage taken, so basically when you're taking damage and you have at least 10 MP, then there's a chance that you're gonna use 10 MP. So each hit, probably there's a chance that you're gonna lose 10 MP, which isn't a big deal. It kind of reminds me of like Celestial Mass, which does a similar thing where it uses 3% of your max MP every hit that you take to reduce your damage taken by 50%. You're not going to want that on him because he's got this trait 1 instead, that you might as well. This is going to be better because 3% of your max MP is every hit, but this is a chance to reduce your MP by 10, so you're not going to have Celestial Mass and this trait 1 active at the same time, is basically what I'm trying to say. So good trait 1, taking less damage and doing more damage is good. And then trait 2 I think is pretty good too. It's interesting because I want to test this to see how good this is. Because if it is at the start of battle, that could be great. But I don't think it is. It says regularly check for allies near death, and if any are found, then it gives all allies defensive formation buff. So I don't know how often it's going to check and how long the buff lasts. Because if it's like a continuous effect, because let's say it activates every 10 seconds and the buff lasts 10 seconds, then it keeps refreshing itself. If that's the case, then this could be amazing, but I don't know. And if this could activate at the start of the battle, then it would be good too, but I don't think it's going to. It's probably going to be, in my opinion, after 10 seconds or every 10 seconds. It sounds like it makes sense, but I don't know. We're going to have to test that, hopefully. We'll try that out later for sure. So when allies have defensive formation buff, damage taken minus 20%, restore HP, defense 25%. Pretty nice. Everyone takes less damage and has more defense and gradually restores HP when they have the defensive formation. Very nice supportive trait, and this is always going to be active, hopefully. Well, at least it's not a buff that lasts 40 seconds that's going to disappear. If you're in a long battle, then this is going to keep refreshing, but I don't know how often. I'm going to have to test that. And then if there are... I think if nobody's dead, or if nobody is near death, so if everyone's at full health for instance, then you're going to get the attack buff instead, which gives everyone more damage and damage cap for skills and magic, which is amazing. 5,000 damage cap, it's going to be very good, and 30% more damage for skill and magic, it's going to be very good too. I really like this trait because we don't see many supportive units, we don't see that many. I mean, I guess we have a lot more available right now than we used to, but there's still not too many, so I like seeing this because it's not just a simple DPS unit that does damage. He can actually take less damage and support everyone in the team by either making them take less damage and restoring their health, or making them do more damage depending on how much health they've got. So I really like this, and I would like to test this out later because I really want to see how often it checks for, you know, how often you get the buff and how long it lasts too, because that's kind of going to be very important. So skills, there's some good skills here. He's got a new magic skill, by the way, which I really hope is going to be on the second unit as well, because if this skill is on the part 2 unit, I think it's going to be amazing, because the part 2 unit, what I've seen, he looks like a very good DPS so far, so I'm looking forward to the part 2 unit for sure. We don't have any information on him yet, but there has been a bit of a showcase kind of, if you checked out the live streams, they showed off his skill 1 and skill 2, which were pretty fast, so I'm excited about trying that out in a week from now. Grand Brave Phaser and Aura Phaser is good, but it would have been nice if it's continuous Aura and Brave effect instead. I know this is good for like your whole party, your whole team getting a buff, so that's good. I mean, maybe this will make it better for him to be a support, so that makes sense. In the future, when his DPS is... You're not going to be using him for a DPS in the future because there'll be other DPS units, then I think you'll probably still use him for these as well, because they would give everyone these stats, which could be good, but a lot of units have continuous Brave or Aura effects already. It's still nice to have those as a supportive unit. And then we got this. It is so long that the words are so small that I can barely read it from here, which is so funny. But basically, this is like Guardian Angel Lukel's special, but you can only use it once per quest. Temporary stop time. Only the unit can act and use skills. And when this buff is active, then you get 30% more damage dealt and 10,000 damage cap and 300% ST recovery speed. It is very similar to Guardian Angel Lukel's special. Basically the same thing, but you can only use this once per quest, and it requires 100 MP, so the good thing about this, you could use this any time, because you don't need to charge your special, because this is a castable magic skill. But you can't use it multiple times, you can only use it once, which is the main thing. But I still think this could be decent. If you can somehow get, if you put on, for instance, Purple Orb and a lot of skill stocks, and give him maximum damage, then this could be amazing. And since he uses machines, then you can put on Trishula and use them in any content you want. So I could see this being good, I just don't think it's going to be amazing. Like what Guardian Angel Lucail was, it's not going to be on the same level as that, because that was just broken, because she could charge her special up and use Great War Ruin and get 2 specials and do crazy stuff like that. And she has good skills with hit counts and fast skills too, but this unit doesn't really have those fast skills, and the DPS isn't as good as the top DPS units we've got, so I still think this is definitely going to be fun to test out a full DPS build and use the skill to see how much damage you can do. I think it's going to be very good. You could probably cheese a few bosses with this, put on Trishula on him and make him a full DPS unit, and just try and do as much damage to the boss as you can. Could do a lot, maybe. And then just some basic stat skills, HP, strength, defense, HP. Since he does scale off intelligence, that is going to help his damage because he does have Thaumaturgy Ring Plus. Quick level up 2, advanced aim vitals, guard vitals. No Proud Force. I would recommend to put on Proud Force because that does help for healing. Healing might be a problem with this unit, I can see that being a problem for sure because he's got weakness to illness. Gonna need to fix that somehow. Raw armor is fine, auto 4 is good, advanced circle is whatever, and haste is good. Haste with this activated, a lot of SCT recovery speed, I think that's going to be good for sure. And it's taken them this long to release another unit that has this type of skill or special, because they know that Guardian Angel Lucail was just incredibly strong and they didn't want to release another one until now because they're trying to balance it. So they're only allowing you to use it once, and they're trying to balance it because they know how strong it is, which makes sense. It's funny though, they introduce new unique mechanics to a unit, and if they realize that it's incredibly strong, they're not going to release another unit like that in the future. And if they do with the same effect, then they're just going to make it a weaker version. They know what they're doing, but at the same time they don't, because they can make new unique features, and that being broken for quite a long time. Then once they're outdated, they can start implementing a weaker version of the same thing. That's basically what they've done with this, pretty much. Dark Drive, High Drive, Attack Raise 2 and 3. There's no Dark Mega Drive, but I think that's on a arc somewhere, possibly, maybe. I don't remember because it's hard to keep track of so many arcs in this game now. It might be. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe so. I don't remember. But if so, then these damage caps could definitely help for dual wield for sure. Dark Weapon Breakthrough 2, Weak Point Breakthrough, more damage cap when hitting a weakness, whatever, Pose of Victory, Megalodon, good stuff. Most of his skills are long range, kind of. They're not melee range. I think his skill 1 still needs to be in range, and his skill 2 needs to be in line of sight, because kind of like a straight line in front of him. I believe skill 3 can be used anywhere, so it's going to be useful. Thaumaturgy Ring Plus, so if you do have the Theopolis arc, then you could put on a Thaumaturgy Ring as well, which could be a huge damage increase potentially with Thaumaturgy Ring Plus. That would be nice. I might do that. Piercing and Shockwave 2. These skills are very good for PvP for sure, so they're going to help for PvP, and you're going to be able to put on Shockwave 1 as well. That's going to help for Nullifying Guard, which is quite important in PvP for sure. Machine High Boost and Mega Boost going to help. Some piercing, damage caps. He doesn't need to have a machine equipped because his trait 1 doesn't say a specific weapon needs to be equipped. It just says damage cap. When one weapon is equipped, get damage cap. So yes, you could technically put on a single wield weapon, like a single sword if you want, but you're going to miss out on these 2 boosts, which is not a massive deal, but you might as well take advantage of it, and we have Trishula anyway, so why not, you know? And if you're doing dual wield, then you could have Trishula plus some other weapon, or whatever weapon you want. I don't think there's really any dark machines, so they're kind of limited on that, but Special Boost 3, Auto Trigger, Giant Killing 2, good stuff. And then we start getting to the unique skills. There's 3 of them, 4 of them. So I like this a lot. Give all enemies a strength and intelligence minus 20% debuff at the start of battle. This is going to be very good. And I can see this being good in PvP as well. So what I'm seeing, I can see some potential with him being a good PvP unit for sure, because he can support everyone, have good survivability as well, and debuff the enemies. It sounds good to me, and if there's a small chance that it could be a full tank, like Jian can be a full tank, then maybe he's going to be super strong. But if he can't be a full tank, then he's probably going to have to be a hybrid tank slash DPS slash support unit instead, and you'll still have to have a tank and a team, but I don't know. I'm really hoping that he can have enough survivability to be a tank in PvP. If so, it could be amazing, and could be fun to use as well. Give us more options. When close to death, very greatly restore HP and defense 100%. That's a lot of defense. Draw less enemy attention. See, if you're building him as a tank, then that's not going to be as good because you're drawing less enemy attention. If you want him as a tank, you kind of want to draw more enemy attention. So it's still nice though, because you're restoring HP and you get 100% defense. You could put on Stone Weld skill as well to nullify piercing effects. That would be great on this unit. He would have a lot of defense, and he can't be affected by piercing effects. That would be nice. I would like to try that. I definitely want to try him out as a full tank, but that's going to be a while until I can build that. And then final one, give revive effect to the unit. Very nice, so he does have an auto revive effect, and when he's revived it gives a physical damage taken minus 35% buff. Very good. So if he does die when he gets revived, he's going to take less physical damage. Very useful, and he does have a revive. He doesn't have decoy, but you could put decoy on if you want anyways. Then he has 2 revives. Could be good. Then you got these damage caps, and then less physical damage taken and magic damage taken. Don't need to talk much about that, but it's good. Good skills I can see is interesting, because what I'm seeing is you're seeing these supportive skills, and then you're seeing a lot of damage skills as well. Some skills like auto fort for taking less damage, and this one for the debuffs. Even though it's only just this for debuffs, it's still useful. And these for survivability as well. Good survivability it seems like, and some decent damage too. I think he could have some good potential, but the only problem is he isn't really going to be used as a DPS, so don't think of him as a DPS unless you're using him for like this and trying to build a full DPS. That could work, but I don't know yet. His damage cap isn't as high as other units that we've got, so I think his main use is going to be a support and potentially a tank, and can do some damage in PvP. If you don't care about PvP, then maybe you don't really need him as much, but I still think he's going to be good in any PvE content as well, but it depends on how much you need this unit. If you need a dark unit, or if you need a support unit, depends on your account, but he looks good to me, and I would definitely like to try him out, because I can see him to have some good potential, for sure. I just really want to test out how good he is with how long he can survive for, how much damage he takes, and his damage potential as well. I think it's good. Definitely gonna try them out later. Let's have a look at the arc next. Now this arc is decent. I don't know if I want to go very hard for this yet, because I know it's a limited arc that you're probably not going to have a chance to get again, but since we had to pity the previous UR arc, I don't want to pity this, so I'm just hoping we get lucky from the gacha and get this from tickets or something. That would be great. But if not, then I'm probably just going to have to continue daily pulls and hope I get it from there, because I don't really want to pity it. But let's have a look. The trait I think is decent, I just don't think it's the best because we've got other options which I can probably compare to in a second. I'll probably do that. Dark physical damage 35% to enemies with a debuff. This is good, but we have other arcs that do similar things or the same thing, but or better. So is a good 35% damage for physical attacks, but we've got other arcs available. If you don't have them, then yes, this will be a very good option to use for dark physical DPS units, as long as you can debuff the enemies, which Lelouch does do at the start of battle, so that's good. The synergy that right there already. When the skill order of the Black Knights is set, strength and defense 15%. So that's a skill in here which we'll look at in a bit. So when you have that skill, then you get more strength and defense, nothing crazy. And then give physical and magical attacks and special anti-machine type effect. Pretty good. It's nothing crazy though, because think about it. A mage isn't going to use this arc trait because this is for dark physical attacks only. So yes, this will give you a Machine Slayer, basically, and give you some damage, which is good. And that Machine Slayer could save some SC that you could put on more damage or something. I can see that, but let me just show you two other arcs, just to compare. We have a lot of good dark arc traits, and there was one more recently. It was the previous collab that we had. This one, dark skill damage 35%. This one, in my opinion, is still a better arc trait than the one that came out today, because you just get 35% dark skill damage all the time. You don't need the enemy to have a debuff, you just get 35% damage. So if you have this arc, then the trait for the new arc, you're probably not really going to use it, because I just think this one's better for sure. And there is another one which is from the Devil May Cry collab, this one, which is arguably one of the best arcs for PvP, because you get 20% dark attack damage, which isn't as high, but chance of physical attacks to greatly lower enemy defense, so that's some piercing, and chance of skill attacks to nullify guard, which is amazing. It's a decent chance too, so that's amazing. And strength rises as HP drops. This is arguably one of the best arc traits for PvP. If you're using it on a dark DPS unit, it's amazing against tanks and stuff. So you can see if you've got those two arcs, or at least one of them, then you don't really need this one as much for the trait alone, but if you don't have those, then this is still a good trait. Let's have a look at the skills next. I was interested in what the skill costs are going to be for these skills, because that's kind of what's going to determine how good I think this arc's going to be. I think it's good. So Dark Drive, Shadow Chance is good. 20% dark attack damage when enemy is in feint or break. It's kind of limited though. Would I use it? I would only use it on either a break unit, or if you're specifically building a break team and have a dark physical attack unit, or since it's dark attack damage, it could apply to magic too, so that's good. But they gotta either be feinted or in break, so it's kind of limited. But for 2SC, it's good to have. It's just you won't find yourself using it very much. Machine Shield is okay. Probably won't use it though. Clove's high boosts isn't really special because we got that on an SSR arc already. Had that for ages. Now we get to the interesting skills that I'm more excited about. I think these two skills down here are probably the main reason you want this potentially, which is why I want it. Combat operations. I really want this skill because I think this skill is going to have a very good long-term. It's going to be very good long-term, for sure. Battlestar, if strength at least equals intelligence, then give unit physical attack damage 20% buff. This is very good. So if your strength basically is the same as your intelligence or higher, then you get a physical attack buff. But if your intelligence is higher than your strength, then you get a magic attack buff instead. This is so good because we don't really have many ways to get a physical or magic attack buff for damage. So that's why this is so good. But again, I can see there is one weapon that does the same thing, that gives a physical and magic attack buff to the whole team. So I can see why I don't technically need this, but if you're using this on any type of unit, any mage or any physical DPS unit can use this skill, and they're just going to get a 20% damage buff. But the problem with this, though, is if you're using a physical damage unit that has high intelligence, then they're going to get a magic attack damage buff, which isn't going to do anything for them. So that's the only problem, but it's not a big problem. Doesn't really matter, because it's still amazing. And I think this skill right here is the main reason I would like to have this arc for sure. If I get this arc, I would definitely be excited about it, because I can see myself using this skill on the majority of units that I use, because I don't think we really have a way to get a magic attack damage buff on a unit, at least for a skill. I don't think we have that. We do have one for physical damage, but that is from a Devil May Cry arc that you may not have. If you don't have that, then this is going to be even better for you. But if you do have it, then it's still beneficial, because, like me, I could then use this on magic attack units. But actually, now I'm thinking about it, do I need this? Because I have the other one for physical damage, and if I'm using that for physical damage, then the only benefit this skill is going to give me is the magic damage buff, which is still good, not gonna lie, but we don't have many mages. I'm just trying to think now. Does units like Shift Eliza have a magic damage, attack damage buff? I don't think so. Those units would definitely benefit from this a lot. Those mages for sure. So I like this skill. Now this skill down here, I was interested in this skill, but when I really thought about it, I just think that it's not really worth it. Because it's 5 SC, right? And if at least two allies have this skill equipped, then it gives them more damage, more skill damage cap based on how many allies have it. So if 2 allies have this equipped, then you get 500 damage cap. 3 is 1000 and 4 is 1500. There's just a problem with this though. If you're using this in multiplayer, most likely there isn't going to be another player with this equipped, so you're not going to get any bonus. And if you're using this in any stage, you can have your 3 units equipping this skill, right, and you're going to get 1000 damage cap for your skills, which is great. But if you're using a someone support unit, then they are most likely not going to have this skill equipped. So if you're forced to use a support unit and you can only use 3 of your own units, then you can't get that 4th unit in the team with the skill equipped, which is a problem. And you also got to think that you're using so much SC just for a little damage cap, you know? I mean, it could be good, but I just don't see myself using this that much, because it requires you to specifically build around this and make a team with this skill equipped on everyone. And if you think about it, this skill costs 5 SC, and if you're equipping this on 3 units, that's 15 SC you're using in total just to get 1000 skill damage cap. on all of your units, but you could be using this on a supportive unit just so you can get that damage cap. I think it's okay, I just don't think it's something I would really use too much. And for maximum damage potential, yes, you could use it, and you could even put this skill on supportive units like Sarah and Tinkily and anyone like that. Could help. You could put on a supportive Sarah as your support unit and have this skill equipped just in case anyone has this arc too, but not everyone's going to be able to get this arc, so yeah. I think the main skill here for sure is this one. If you don't have, I guess I should find it. If you don't have the one that I'm thinking of, then it's going to be amazing for your account. Let me just find it. It's one of these Devil May Cry, probably this one, yeah. This skill gives a physical damage 20% buff for 3FC. It's basically the same thing. So if you have this arc, then I just use this for physical attack DPS units, and this is more reliable because this will apply to units like Roy that has high intelligence. So arguably this is going to be the better option if you've got this for physical DPS units, which means if you do get this arc and you also have the other one that I mentioned, then the only benefit you're going to get is to be able to get a 20% magic damage buff for your magic DPS units, which is still very huge. For 3FC it's very good. But if you don't have that other arc, then this arc gonna gain a lot more value on your account for sure. So that's why I think this arc's gonna be pretty decent to get, but it depends on your account as well. Let's have a look at the Archive rewards. I think this is a decent cloth. I think it's okay. Nothing crazy though. So defense, mind, strength is okay. Dark attack damage 10% isn't that much, but it's something. For a cloth, we do need more clothes. We don't have many. And damage taken from bosses minus 10%. It's good, but since it isn't damage taken minus 10%, which could have been useful for like a PvP, it's okay. I could see myself using this, potentially. But who is a single wield unit that would use this? There isn't many options. Lelouch obviously could use this, but there isn't really many single wield dark DPS units, are there? No. So maybe in the future there would be someone that would really like this, but not super excited about this, but still okay. I really want this skill, so I would like to get this arc, but I don't need it. It's the thing, so I'm gonna keep trying to tell myself that I don't need it, and maybe I'll end up saving some crystals today and skipping it and actually being smart for once in my life, because I'm not smart. We know this. So overall, what I'm seeing, I think this unit looks very interesting. Definitely going to benefit anyone's account for sure, because he's a good support unit and can do some damage, as well as could be a tank potentially. So those roles are hard to fill in this game because we don't have many tanks or supportive units. He's going to be great on anyone's account, but requires testing to really see how good he is as a support slash tank, and a DPS too. The arc, like I've said, it's very good arc. It depends on if you've got that skill I mentioned from the Devil May Cry collab. If you don't, this skill is going to benefit your account by a lot, so if that's the case, then you may want to try to get it, but don't pity it, because that is way too many crystals just for one skill, you know. And even though you might use this arc for its trait and everything, I don't think it's worth pitying if you're free to play. I don't think it ever is. It depends on your account, but you could try for it if you want. It depends. It always depends. I always say that, but I can't say you must get this, because that's just not true. You don't need to get anything in this game. It just depends on your account how good it will be. So at least what I've seen, this banner looks pretty solid. might as well throw a few crystals if you've got any left after the anniversary. If you do, then you could put some crystals in here, or a better option, you just use your tickets and wait for part 2 to come out, because part 2 could be better. We don't know. We don't know what the part 2 arc or unit is going to have. We know that the part 2 unit is going to be a Thunder dual-wield DPS unit, which his skills look very fast. I think the part 2 unit is going to be a top tier DPS. The part 1 unit though seems more of a supportive unit, so he's got more long-term viability, but the part 2 unit seems like a top tier DPS, so I don't know yet. It depends on what you want to do. You could put a few crystals on here if you want, up to you. Good banner, but actually there is still other banners available. I could have a look at that. And then we'll look at his paid equipment too. I haven't looked at them yet. We've still got Neil. She's still up. She's got another 2 weeks left. So I'm just gonna tell you this. I've used her a lot, and she's one of my favorite units right now. She is so good. I just like her a lot as a unit, and the arc is so good. I just think this banner is definitely worth pulling on. Is this banner more value than this one? I can't say, because this is more limited than this. But this unit is so good, and we know she's so good. It's hard to tell, but up to you. If you've got fear of missing out, then it's probably better to pull on collabs instead. But she's very good. She's definitely a top tier unit. We know this. So let's have a look at paid equipment, because I haven't looked at that yet. I believe he has a paid armor and accessory. I don't know what they have though. I'm glad it's not another 50 credential paid situation, because that was kind of annoying. But let's have a look. So this, if you get this, then basically going to use him as a single wield all the time. So think about that. So what does this do? I don't know yet. So let's have a look. Defense, mind, strength, intelligence. Okay. Is a cloth. Makes sense. Boost buffs from trait 0. Defense 10%, damage taken minus 5%, damage 10%, damage cap 1000. Chance to nullify physical damage taken. So from trait 0, let me just remind myself what that is, because I don't remember. I know I talked through the whole thing, but just this. Oh, okay, I see. That's good. That's so yeah. Okay. Oh no. Basically, if you have the paid cloth, then it's gonna make him an even better supportive unit. It's gonna give more damage and damage cap to his buff to all units in the team, and more defense. Does it give less damage taken too? I think it does. That's pretty crazy. As a supportive unit, this would definitely be the one to get, but I haven't looked at the accessory yet. Defense 10%, damage taken minus 5%, damage 10%, damage cap 1000. So this isn't what he's getting. This is for his trait 2, which is the attack or defensive buff, depending on how low your ally's health is. So the fact that this applies to everyone in your team is so good. Chance to nullify physical damage taken isn't as good as I would have liked, but still very good. I think this is just mostly aiming him towards a supportive unit. I like this. It's nothing crazy, but think about it. If your attack buff applies, then everyone in your team is getting 6000 skill and magic damage cap. That's a lot. And 30% skill and magic damage. This is very good. I think, now I'm thinking about it, this is really going to make him a top tier support, because 6000 damage cap is on the higher end of damage caps. And I believe the damage cap is magic / skill, so yeah. I'm just thinking, The only problem is I don't think it's going to be the start of battle, but skill and magic damage. Oh, 30%, so that makes it 40%. Oh, okay. I really like this guy already. And the paid clothes, I really like it. It's making me more excited about this unit now. I'm reading about it properly. I can see some good potential for sure. Definitely a top tier support, and I'm just reading this. So, think about it. Let's say you go into the battle, and I don't know how long it will take for the buff to apply. I'm going to test that later, but let's say for instance it takes 10 seconds for the buff to apply, just as a guess. Then after 10 seconds, if your allies have full health or are close to full health and are not low on health, then everyone in a team is going to get 6,000 damage cap for skill and magic, and 40% skill and magic damage. That is crazy good. The only thing I'm a tiny bit worried about is how long does the buff last and how often does it refresh. Because if there is a long downtime, then it's not going to be as good. So what I'm going to do later is I want to, if we get lucky, then I really want to test out his trait just to test how reliable it is. If it's very reliable and there's at least one of the defensive or attack buffs that is active at a time, that's always up, then this is going to be amazing. So I'm excited about this to try it out. Now the accessory, what is this? Let's see. Defense, mind, HP, okay. It's okay. Continuous high protection. Continuous high protection on an accessory is amazing. This is going to be so good for a tank. If you're building him as a tank, this is going to be great. But you draw less enemy attention. I'm seeing a few problems with this though. There's a few problems. The problem being that he's going to draw less enemy attention with his accessory plus his skill when he survives, takes lethal damage and heals and get that 100% defense buff. The problem is he's going to have 2 stacks of drawing less enemy attention. Even with things like a lore and armors and stuff to draw more enemy attention, I don't know if he's going to be a super reliable tank in your team that's going to take all the hits, because drawing less enemy attention isn't a good thing on this unit if you're building him as a tank. So this draw less enemy attention is only a good thing if you want him to survive. See, let me word it like this: if you want him to be a support, then this is an amazing thing to have, because he's not going to get attacked and he's going to be able to do some damage, stay at the back hopefully, and do a lot of supportive skills and buffs. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you, yeah. If you want to skip, then it's up to you, but I highly recommend to do the event and use all of your tickets and hope to get something. If you do buy 3 crystals, then I would recommend to the daily single page, because it's 100 paid crystals for 1 single pull, and potentially the step gacha. If I was a light spender, I would do that on every banner, but if you're just free to play, then just use tickets and save and kind of wait for people's opinions first. But my first thoughts on this unit are very positive so far. If you just care about DPS, then start thinking differently, because he's mostly going to be a supportive unit that can take some good damage. He can tank some good hits, I think. Good accessory, good clothes. Now, here's the thing. If you're building him as a supportive unit mostly, then this will be the one you want. But if you're building him as a tank, I still think you probably should get this one, but I need to test it first. Because this accessory is good and all, but draw less enemy attention isn't really a good thing. It's kind of a bad thing if you want him to be a tank. because giving continuous high protection kind of implies he's going to be a tank, or at least he can survive a lot of physical attacks, so I'm interested to see how much of a tank it can be, but I'm just worried about draw less enemy attention. I'm going to test this later. When I have him fully built, I'm going to test how reliable it is, but I don't know what to expect. I think for sure this one's probably going to be the better one. 100% as a support, this one's better, but I need to test it, so I think they're both good, but I personally prefer the look of this one first, so that's all I'm going to say for that. There are prisms there too, but at least for the past few months or however long, paid equipments have been very strong, so it's not recommended to get prisms unless you've done so many paid pulls and had to pity the unit or something. If you have so many credentials left over after getting both paid equipments, then yes, you can get the prisms, but getting the equipment's probably the best thing to do instead of prisms, because all you're getting is 2 SE, or 5 more credentials and you get a paid equipment, you know. So, I think his paid equipments are good. I'm quite excited about his paid clothes. I think they're going to be good. Now the event, I'll quickly look over. I have farmed it quite a bit this morning, and so far I like the look of this event. There is a prism here. I believe you should be able to get 3 of his prisms from the event for free, which is good. This accessory is interesting. Auto cast Lost Toma on unit and all enemies. Last 20 seconds. Stream luck. I hope I get that stream luck. I'm glad you got that luck, but don't steal it. Everyone needs it. We need to share it. Everyone needs... You know what we should do is just pass the luck around. Take it in turns. Only one person pull at a time. Everyone pass their luck on to one person. They do their pulls, get the unit and the arc early, and then transfer their luck over to the next person. That would be a great system. I'm just talking crap, but that would be cool. Good accessory, by the way. Reason being, you can abuse it, and the debuff can act as a buff on certain units. I think like Bradley or some units get more damage or take less damage when they have a debuff. And if they're physical DPS that scales off strength, then the Lost Toma debuff isn't going to do anything to them anyways, and you're giving all of the enemies a debuff. It's good. I actually like that accessory. It's a decent one for an event accessory. Yeah, the 4th anniversary I spent a lot too. I'm assuming most people did because there was so much in the anniversary, I'm not going to lie. 3 top tier units, 3 top tier UR arcs. It was so much. It's kind of ridiculous how much they released on this anniversary. It was crazy. I'm assuming a lot of people don't have many crystals left. It's unfortunate because there's a collab, and I wish we could have a break right now and just have a permanent unit to skip, but they're not like that. Just think of it like this though, if your account is, you know, if you have a solid account already, then skipping a few units and skipping a collab like this probably isn't going to be a massive deal, I think, because there are always going to be more units released in the future, so yeah, you know. But I guess we should move over to summons in a second. I think Lelouch is definitely going to be a good top tier supportive unit that I would like to use. So the plan for today is 100% going to get this unit, but am I going to go for this arc? Yes, but I'm not going to pity it, because I can see how good it is. I just don't think that what I'm getting from it is going to be worth it for my account enough to want to pity it, so I'm trying to spend less on this game. So it hasn't been working recently, because whenever I've had bad luck, it's been when I've wanted to pity something because it's good, and whenever it's something I don't want, I end up getting it. It's stupid, but Most of my luck was from Anniversary. I don't think we have much luck left, but I don't know. Let's see. Plan is we're going to use these tickets first. I'm just going to use these three singles and then 10 pool and just see what happens, and then step gacha. I don't have as many free crystals as I would like because I used most of those for the UR arc, but I'm not going to lie, I'm actually happy about the UR arc. I'm not happy that I had to pity it, but I've realised that it's a UR arc that I'm going to use a lot, and I did get that arc skill to level 10. Best case scenario, we get the limited arc from these tickets. Not going to happen. Skip. I hope we at least get one red or something from this 10 pool, but I feel like I haven't gotten something new from tickets in a very long time. When was the last time? Don't remember. A long time ago, it feels like. Tharia with a gold looks okay, but I'm not gonna judge. I'm just gonna wait and see. Let's hope we get the limited arc from this one. The unit would be good too, because that would mean we won't have to pity anything. Any one of those two I would take. I really don't mind what it is. We have everything else, so we're not missing anything else. If they even riz a red, they might not. One animation is enough for a red, apparently. Arc is an arc. Can it be the limited one? I'll be very happy if it is. I don't think so, because most of the time you just get an arc dupe, a lot of arc dupes. There's two of them. Something new? No. Of course not. There were two arcs in there, kind of what I expected though. I was hoping one of those would be the limited arc, really, but just got to keep reminding myself that I don't need the limited arc. I mean, it would be nice, though. It would be really nice. Because the magic damage buff would be super good on, like, Eliza. And even potentially Amelia. Would I use it for Amelia in PvP, in Arena? Maybe. I don't know, but there was an arc recently that the Heroic Spirit Possession physical, if you have this skill equipped, as well as the one from this limited arc, then it kind of means you're getting a continuous damage buff effect, in a way. For like PvP in Arena, you're technically getting a continuous buff because the buff lasts for 40 seconds, and then when you die you get the buff again. So it's really good in Arena, for sure. I would like to have it for that reason. Nothing from tickets, but at least we got some reds. Let's hope we get lucky from the step gacha, because I would really like to get lucky, for sure. Obviously everyone would, but I'd like to get the unit and arc, but I hope I don't have to pity the unit. No pity, please. I'm gonna skip most of these unless they look better than this, because this is not. 2 golds is not what I expected at all. Let's get some luck. Hopefully. And then we'll be able to test him out. But how am I going to test Lelouch? Well, I will test his DPS, his damage, but also his supportive skills. This one's probably going to be gold, that's my guess. I want to test his trait too, and his damage, and comparing dual wield to single wield. Yeah, that's gold. Just one. Can we get some more reds that are not dupes? We haven't gotten a non-dupe. I feel like dupes are too common. Right, yeah, I remember this is one of the collab step gachas, so it's done differently. You don't get a free temple. Right. Actually, doesn't that mean that the pity is cheaper than normal? Come on. Has to be a red in here, please. It's going to be Zekus. Faria. The gold. Yes. But, is it going to be a red? It has to. Come on. Three animations, you can't not be a red. There's no way that you're not going to be a red. Bet there's only one red, though. Damn it. Not new. We rarely get anything new on this account. Well, oh, okay, well, I don't know if I want both of his paid equipments, that's the thing as I'm thinking of. I think if you're just using him as support, then you don't need this. But I would like to try him as a tank, but is this even good for a tank? Yeah, continuous high protection. Yeah, well, there's probably still tickets available, I believe. So, let's hope we get the unit as soon as possible. That's what I'm looking for right now, is just the unit. As soon as possible, like right now. Probably not. It's a blue, damn it. I don't like seeing blue because it makes it feel like that it's less lucky than a gold. If there is only 1 or 0 animations, I don't think there's going to be a red in this temple. That's what I'm going to say. There's 2. That's a 50-50 chance, I don't know. There is. But it's another arc dupe, I bet you. We have yet to get a unit. We don't have a unit yet. We haven't gotten a unit this whole time. The arc twice. I would really like to get the arc at least once, you know. I'm going to use a few free crystals, but not too many. Because it's a bad idea to use them. Faria. Come on, I'm not going to look at this temple, I'm just going to judge it based on the sound. I don't know why I do this, because you can't even see me, so you can't even... I can hear a few animations, so I'm expecting at least 1 red from this. Has to be a red, right? Something new. I don't think so. No. Oh, I heard a unit. That was Mia. Why was that Mia? I don't really use Mia. I know she's decent in PvP, her damage is pretty high, but I don't really use her. That's sad. Well, I'm gonna try to do a few free crystal pulls, I guess. I'll just skip a few of these just to see if we can get lucky from a few of these singles. Probably not. If we get the unit, as soon as we get the unit, we'll stop. That is the plan right now. I'm just gonna skip these, there's no point. Actually, if it looks good, then I would watch it. Trying to spend the least amount of crystals possible. Ideally. I feel like we don't have any luck at all for this collab so far. We haven't gotten anything new yet. I mean, how many pulls have we done? I don't think it's too many yet. The Rhea is worth looking, but a blue and her by herself. That's going to be a gold, guaranteed to gold. Not red, it's gold. Because I know this. See? I'm at least going to get a red. And then I'm probably going to go back to Step Gacha and finish it off, I guess. If we could get the unit, we could save for part 2. That would be perfect. Well, what would be perfect is if we get the arc. There's a gold. I blued. And then it turns gold. Red, but it's a dupe of... The same thing is happening again to me. We're not getting anything new at all. We're just getting a bunch of dupes in this hellhole of getting nothing. Luck's been bad recently, I think, to be honest. I'm gonna go back to Step Gacha once we get more and more red. And probably just finish it off and get the unit. But I hope it doesn't come down to that. I'd really like to get the arc, but I don't need it. Get the unit. If we get, the sooner we get the unit, the sooner we can test him out. Game. You want me to test him, don't you? I will test him. But how soon? How much patience does it take? Because I also got to consider, if the part 2 arc is worth pitying, I gotta have, there's another dupe. Why? I gotta have enough crystals if I want to pity the part 2 arc, just in case it is good. Let's just do this. Let's continue this now, because I'm sad. Haven't got anything at all. It's probably going to be the worst luck possible. Yeah, I think so. I refuse to pity the arc. Oh, come on, that's bad. If it's a blue, I'm skipping. That's a gold. I'm going to give it a chance, but I don't have any hope for this at all, because it's just not good. Lilibet has given me good luck in the past, but not on this temple. See, 3 animations, but it's a Lilibet by herself. Here is a red. Can this be the limited arc? No. 2 reds, 1. It won't be. This is not that good, is it? No, it's not. Damn. Come on. Can we get the units? 3 is gonna show up. I have a feeling. No, 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 no. That was my feeling. I knew I was feeling something, that's what it was. No reds. That's what it was. I knew it. How many have we done? A bit too many. I should look at the collab challenge. I don't understand what you're doing. My connection's fine. You're lying. Well, I'm gonna check the trading space just to make sure how many we've done and the credential situation. Then I think I should just continue Step Gacha until we get the unit, and then as soon as we get the unit we'll stop. That's the plan. Because I feel like the unit's definitely going to have the most value in this banner. More value than the arc. But it depends. It really depends. Can you load for once? Emulator isn't that great at loading, is it? No. Not the best at loading. I can't go over to Steam yet, because we still need to do Step Gacha. I don't think it's fine. I'm going to close it. There you go. I'm just thinking, Lelouch compared to other supportive damage cap units that we've got. The best units that I use for giving everyone damage cap has been Sarah, which gives, I believe, when she uses her special, everyone gets 4,000 damage cap, I think. Lelouch, with his paid clothes, can give everyone 6,000, and he doesn't even have to use a special. The only problem is, I don't know how reliable it is. That's what I really want to know. If it's reliable and has good uptime, he's going to be amazing for a long time, 100%. Because it's partly the reason why some of us still use Tinkilly as a support, even though she's very old. because she gives damage cap and a lot of supportive buffs. Buffs last a long way. Any supportive buffs or damage caps, super valuable. Might as well collect all of these. There is one ticket here, but I've got to defeat the collab event boss, which we don't have unlocked yet. We have to unlock that boss. I do kind of like this event, how they've done it. It's interesting, for sure. Poster. Trading space. Let's have a look. So we got 51, so technically we can just get both now. So ideally we just need to get the unit and then we don't have to use any more paid crystals, but it's not going to happen, is it? No. 76, I mean, it's not as much as I thought, so I guess it's okay. I'll use a few more free crystals, just in case. One temple with free crystals. That'll be at 86 pity. Obviously I'm not going to pity anything, but I'm just thinking about it. Zekus gold at least give me a bit more hope than blue. If it was a blue there would be no red in here, but there's a very small chance there's a red in here. There still is, but again, if there's 1 or 0 animations, it's not going to go red. Even a 2 could not be a red, because I know that is a 2. That is a red. Please be new. There's only 1. It's a Dupark. It's the unit. It's actually the unit. I'm surprised. I was hoping it was going to turn green, but you know what? I will actually take this, because for once I can actually save some crystals. I can actually be a smart player for once in my lifetime. The only problem, yes, luck was finally here. It just took so many summons, but you know what? That's actually pretty good. That's good. I like this. We can try them out now in a few minutes. Well, probably a bit longer than that, but here's my plan now. We got both his paid equipments right, and we got the units, so technically we don't need to pawn this banner anymore unless we want the arc. Now, I would still like the arc, and I'm going to tell you my plan. My plan is going to be to continue doing the event and get tickets, and I'm going to keep doing this daily gacha pull every day, and maybe I'll get lucky and get this arc in the 20 days that we've got left. Probably not. If I don't get it, then I'm not going to pity it, because I don't want to. That's the thing. And I feel like I don't need it, because I did a lot of explanations on that already. But good news. Hear me out. I actually have a good idea. If I do 14, so in 2 weeks from now, I'll be able to have enough to get this temple ticket, because that would be 1 pull per day from the paid daily. So in 2 weeks, I will be able to get this temple ticket. That's my plan. I could get these 5 right now, but no, there's no point, because I get temple ticket if I do these 14 more singles. So I'm going to be a smart player and try and test my luck on getting that arc, but I'm not going to pity it, because if I just look, the pity for arc is 200. Actually, that's not too bad, but that's still a bit much, I think, because that would be 114 more summons just for an arc. I don't think it's worth it, so let's forget that for now. Let's have a look at the units, because I'm excited about that. Yes, let's put him on here. I'm quite excited to try him out and to see his potential, because I think he's definitely going to be a good supportive unit for sure. It would be nice to have the arc equipped, because I like having the unit and the arc, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it does a little bit, but we have other arcs available, so... like this one. Arguably, this is better. For the damage cap, not really. Actually, if you want him for damage cap, you can just put on this if he's going to be single wield. Yeah, well, here's the thing though, is technically arcs are the better and more difficult ones to get. Yeah, if I do, getting anything from a Singapore is just amazing. You know what I really want to do is I want to get to level 51 as soon as possible. I'm working on leveling up this arc, because I'm using it a lot. I think personally the arcs have the most long-term value compared to the units, but this is one of the different situations where this unit actually has long-term value. This unit having long-term value, those two words shouldn't exist together in the same sentence, because arcs are the things that have long-term value. Units don't. He does though. That's the thing. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to level up an arc, see if I can get to level 51. I don't think I'm close enough yet. What I'm doing for now, I was strongly considering spending some time to make a video on the top units to get to level 15, but haven't felt like it at the moment, and that would take us a lot of time to do that if I were to do that, like a few hours investment. Almost. Not quite there yet. I was considering, but I don't know. Level 15. Reason why I'm leveling up this is because the magical damage. This is going to be on Amelia in my arena defense team. Just going to give her more damage, because why not? So close. Come on. You know what? We may get enough XP if we level this guy up. We're going to do that. Let me just show you something. I've been farming a lot over the past week, or at least over the past few days, so I managed to get a lot of these ultra clusters, but I don't think this is enough. I'm going to need more than this, because what I want to do, there are at least 3 or 4 units that I want to get to 6 enhance. I'll show that soon. Let's just focus on this guy first. Lelouch is gonna get a rainbow potion because I got 7. Use this. I hope it's enough, but you also got to remember I need to convert some of them into those books. Will this give me a level up? It should do, right? 6, that should be enough. Has to be enough. Yes. Takes so long to level up. His laugh just sounds evil. And I still think it's weird that it's... yeah, I don't fully understand. Level 51. Love seeing that. I don't fully understand why there's this guy, this butt on the screen, and this machine thing, and this is the sprite that we're getting. Like, it's 3 different things in the same picture, and yeah, I know I don't understand the collab because I don't know anything about the anime, but they're probably just mechas, so there's probably he's inside of this, or this is, I don't know, you'll hate me for not knowing anything about it, but it's fine. Yeah, because I was like, geez, like, this couldn't be much more of a butt in the screen. This is kind of waifu material, but not at the same time. I didn't want to focus on it too much. Let's do this. Victory belongs to me. I mean, yeah, kind of. Why does she have to be in this pose, though? I'm not complaining. Makes the unit a whole lot better. People that care about waifus will just be pulling on banner 1 just to get this unit. Just to look at this picture, that's it. You're paying money just to get this. No, I don't agree with that. I'm not that person. I pull for fun units, units that look good. I'm not coming up with excuses. I'm just saying a unit that looks good does, I know, kind of help, makes you want to use the unit more, but that isn't always me, you know. Must pull, yeah, sure. I never use the word must pull because I think nothing is ever must pull. Let's start learning these skills. Definitely gonna be fun to try out this unit. What's the ward? Defense 1%. That isn't really helpful, is it? 1% of 1,000 defense is just 10. Is something. It's not bad. I should be able to learn everything. Yeah, I can. Since I've been doing so much grinding materials, we've got so many clusters. 861, 869, 251, 260. We're set on mega clusters and normal clusters for forever, basically. Only thing we're not set on is the ultra clusters. Definitely more of those. What I do want to show in a minute after we've built this unit a bit is the other units that are getting 6th enhance in this update. I'm very interested in that. I didn't pull for this picture. You know what I pulled for. Well, I feel like I pull for every single unit. I know I do, because literally every unit in this game is somewhat fun and good. I mean, I admit that some units in the past I don't use anymore, and I don't know why I pulled for them. Like the Persona collab units, I don't use them anymore, so why did I pull them? I don't know. It was fun, I tried them out. It's fun, it's the main thing. I mostly pulled for, I think he's going to be a good support unit, and he has potential, so I see potential, I pull for a unit. I see a unit that's fun, I pull for fun. Kind of how it is. I'm going to make a guide on how to use, I don't know, Skelly, Pockle, just for fun. That'd be stupid though. You know, that'd be a great April Fool's Day idea. Have like a unit review that's just a whole joke that's kind of trying to be serious at the same time. Like, oh, if you want Pockle to be this good, you really want to equip this, and they need this to be amazing. I'm not doing that. I'll be honest, there is a lot of ideas that I do have that I could do for videos on this channel and stuff. It's just I need to be motivated enough, and it takes a lot of effort to do any types of these things. I used to do a lot of videos, I used to do a few, but the channel kind of moved towards streams instead, which I personally enjoy a lot more than videos. I actually tell you something, that preparing for the stream still takes a lot of time. Like yesterday, I took like an hour preparing the stream and doing the description and the thumbnail, which still takes some time investment, so I still enjoy doing it though. Tormentoja Ring Plus, that's going to be a huge one. I'm really wondering what his damage is going to be like. There is a chance that it could be a good DPS. You know what? I'm just thinking, he could be a dual wield DPS, like with that arc from the Devil May Cry collab for guard break and piercing and more dark damage. And he also has Shockwave 2 for more nullify enemy guard, and you could also put on Shockwave 1. if you put on dual wield with all those nullify guard skills, that's just sounds really good to me. Sounds amazing. Just thinking about this unit makes me come up with a lot of build ideas that I want to test out. I just need to spend a lot of time building this unit over the next week. Hopefully next week I would have him fully built, but I don't know. Next week's going to be the part 2 unit. That's going to be interesting. I'll be honest though, I do like it when we do have more units like this where we get a unit every week, because it feels like there's more content on the channel to do more streams, you know. And when it's every 2 weeks, there's kind of a 2-week gap in between the streams, so. But also the good thing is, if it is one unit every 2 weeks, then it means I don't have to pull as much, so it kind of saves long term, because I don't make any money off YouTube at all. I'm not worried about that. Just in the future I won't be able to pay for everything. Let's awaken. Might as well do that now. He has all of his base skills. One interesting thing though is I've got to look at his equipment. Equipment will be a bit more difficult, because there are a few different builds you could build him for. I think for now I'm going to mostly build him as a support / single wield DPS. So I'm going to go by that, because that's kind of the most simple build for him. So let's have a look. He's got machine high boost and machine mega boost, so ideally you'd want to have a machine, which is fine. You could put on Trishula if you want. I would do that. But currently it's on Zayax, which I use for farming multiplayer stages all the time. I'm using Mecha Cannon on Nael. There isn't any dark machines that are good enough. This isn't really that good, but it's something. We need more machines. If we could get a machine like this, but it's fire, it's dark instead of fire, I would like that. Yeah, there's not really that many machines, are there? Well, I think, yeah, I would put on Trishula, but since that's on Zayax, and I'm just going to switch it out back to Zayax anyway, because I use him for farming multiplayer, I'm just going to equip this one. If you've played for a while, you're most likely going to have this because it's from an event, so this is a free-to-play build, everyone, there you go. Up until I start adding the paid clothes. Wow. I know. I'm going to put it on, but you don't need it. There are other options, like if you were to build him as a tank fully, you could put this on, maybe, potentially, if you want. There is a lot of builds that I want to test, but this could be good. I do like this one quite a bit, but this is from a UR arc. This one's Godforge. This one is pretty good, and that's kind of the only 3 that I think are worth using. Anything else? Not really, but there is one down here that gives skill damage, which is from an event which you could use potentially, but well, it does physical damage, auto revive. We still need more clothes and armors, mostly clothes though for damage. The Arc has one. This one's good. Well, it's not the best, but another free-to-play option if you want, if you have it from an event. Maybe not everyone have that. Accessories, he's dark, so it's going to be easy to build dark, because we've got a lot of accessories for dark. For that reason, we have this one, very good. I'm currently not using melee on my support, so I can take that off for now. And also, this one as well. Very good. This build seems okay to me for now. There are other options depending on what you're using. You can only equip machines, so if you want to equip a sword or something you could, but I don't see any reason to. I mean, you could equip a dark sword if you've got one or something, but it's not really needed. There are other accessories you could use as well. There are quite a few options for accessories, don't need to look at those, but weapons and clothes are kind of more difficult. So let's just go with that for now. Stats are looking okay, nothing crazy. Let's try them out in a second. Or now. Let's try them out now. With Council 10 to make it easier. Just to see how he does with base skills and everything. This will be interesting. So, don't expect too much from him, because his damage not going to be crazy. At least his DPS is not going to be crazy. I should switch to the Steam version now. I'm going to do that. Close this. I think his DPS, at least single wield, not very good. But dual wield, don't know yet. Really don't know yet. There we go. We do have a lot of single wield skills available to us if you've got it that can increase single wield damage cap, so you could still get some decent damage for single wield. It just depends on your build. If you're building him as a damage / support unit, then if you've got his paid clothes, you're definitely going to want them on, so you can't really use dual wield if it's support. I guess we can take this time to try out to see what his trait 2 is like as well. Let's have a look. First test I'm going to do is just to see when his trait 2 activates. Because I really want to know that. So I'm pretty certain it's not at the start of battle, right? Never mind. He gets... Wait, this is huge. You don't realize how good this is now. It still requires more testing, just wait a second. Attack formation applies at the start of battle. You know what this means? If you don't, then it basically means if you've got his paid clothes, then at the start of battle, everyone in your team is gonna get 6,000 damage cap and 40% damage. God, this is disgusting already. I'm gonna try him out in Arena at some point, because I feel like his damage buffs and his damage cap buffs and his supported buffs and buffs on buffs is gonna be so good, and debuffs, but one debuff, but I've said buff too many times. Let's try him out. I'm gonna wait and see how long the buff lasts for testing purposes. Still active, still active, still active, still active, still active. It's been 15 seconds. That basically tells me everything I needed to know. Kind of. I just want to see if it runs out at all. Because if there's any downtime, then I'll realise, I'll notice it. So if it starts flashing, is it 40 seconds? Or has it already refreshed? I can't tell. It's still going. Oh. Well, you see, this is still up, and it's been over 40 seconds, hasn't it? Yeah, I think this is kind of ridiculous. Because it's always active, at least so far. Is it going away? No. Okay, let's start using skills, I think. Skill 1 is very slow, you see. Kind of spam it, but I'm not really a fan of it. Skill 2 is kind of good. I like skill 2. Let's try and spam this. Okay. Looks like skill 3 does have 2 skill stocks, which is nice. I think a skill 3 is pretty good. It's 18 hits. His damage so far doesn't look that bad, if I'm honest. Let's use this. Time stop. Obviously he's not doing much damage because the boss has dark resistance. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna tell you, my first impressions of testing him, he seems really good. And I haven't even done much with him yet. My brain is going in many places because I can see a lot of potential with this unit already. Let me just try this again. Properly. Using skills. Man, I'm actually impressed so far, but he's not even built yet. Let's use Council 10. Now, so his base skill stocks are going to be 4, 3, 2, which is good. 4, 3, 2, I think that's okay. It's kind of average, but I'm glad that he has at least 2 skill stocks of skill 3. Let's use this at the start of battle. Actually, let's try and group them together, like right here, and then use this. And then do one of these, spam skill 2. Oh. Okay, well, it's fun. Obviously the damage isn't crazy because that boss has 50 dark resistance. I could try against the other stage. I don't know if they got dark resistance, or I could just try Theopolis. Let's try that. You know what? Maybe he could be a good support, meaning on your account if you set him as your support friend unit. I'm just thinking. Him. Ooh. I'm just thinking too much. Anyways, him with this and the UR arc. Let's just try this again. I'm gonna this time go with, I just want someone with Theopolis. So Theria with Theopolis is all I'm gonna do. Not that one. I could put on Honey Elixir. Nah, let's just go with this. See how this does this time. The damage won't be crazy, but I still think it's okay so far. We also got these. The problem with these though is he doesn't have a continuous brave or aura effect. There's one tiny problem. If I check, yeah, you have the attack formation, you have the attack formation, everyone gets the attack formation. Theopolis, go. I'm going to use his skill 3 just to see how much that does in one skill 3. How much will this do? What's his damage cap going to be like this time? My guess, I don't think his damage cap is very high. He's not even built yet. Yeah, 50 something. It's not that much, you see. Yeah, you can see his damage cap's kind of low, right? Don't be disappointed, okay? Because he's not 6th enhanced yet, and he doesn't have any single wield skills equipped, like the two-handed sword thing, and any two-handed boost skills. Favored sword. You could put on a favored sword and then you get 10,000 more damage cap right there. You see? And there's also more than that. You could put on two-handed sword and two-handed sword boost to get more. Like 8,000 more, I think, I'm guessing. And could even go higher. So, seems good to me. Now, here's a problem, is this is another scenario where it's kind of difficult to test his full potential. Because his main role is going to be a support / tank. And if he's going to be a tank, then I have to build him properly. And if I'm trying to showcase a support, there isn't a best way of doing that. Unless I were to showcase a different team and just put him in as a support. But that would kind of be showcasing a different DPS, you know. I would like to see how often the regularly checks how often this is. Because if you're in like arena or any place where you're taking a lot of damage, I don't know if it's, for instance, every 5 seconds it checks or something. Or whatever happens, I don't know. Let me think. What else would I want to test with this guy? Because it's kind of difficult. I guess I could go for a full damage focus team, but it's not gonna do well, is it? No. I haven't tried his special out yet. I should do that. But it's not gonna do very much at all. Let's just go over to testing. And I'll put him in here. I'll try for a max single world damage cap testing team, but again, just remember that he's a base skill, so this will be a lot higher if he was built with skills and stuff. And he could dual wield as well. A lot of potential that I'm currently not using yet because this is just a base showcase test thing. Let's go with Sarah is already there. Then you and I have an idea of what I want to test. I'm going to do that. Actually, I lied. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that in a minute. Let's do this first. I think this is good enough. Maybe. I want to try out, see how much damage he can do when he's using his skill for time stop. Because that would be a good test too. Do that and that. And then try this and see what happens. I'm gonna just use skills this time, then next time I'll use special. I did a bit too much damage. I mean, I do like the skills. Obviously the damage cap's too low. The damage is okay. It's nothing crazy though. But again, this is just base skills, and I've said it many times. It's not going to be a full DPS unit. He might, maybe, but his potential as a support is very high. I can see that. Let me try his special this time. I don't know how much it's going to do. I don't expect too much though. Let's do this and go. Kind of needs to be awoken for a special to be strong, so I think he's only awoken 2 right now. Awakened 2. I think that's good enough. I just want to see the animations and everything. It's pretty cool though. That's pretty good actually. But it's only 45 hits. It did hit damage cap, but he isn't going to be a special damage unit for sure, but it's okay. It means he at least has some damage available. Kind of reminds me of Moana. She has some damage even though she's mainly focused as a support. This guy's kind of similar in the fact that he is mostly support but has damage as well. I would say that's his main role, but you could change his build to be a full DPS if you want to, because you could try and abuse this. Make his damage as much as possible, then use this against the boss to do much as possible. I'm going to try that in a second, right now, but I don't know if it's going to do a lot, because he's got base skills. Wanted to try against single guy that I always do in here. I think more skill stocks will definitely be useful for him. Like purple orb would be great. Let's try and focus on full damage. Definitely going to be using summon spirits because I love that a lot. What do I need? You. Should I use Sarah? Yes. But how can I fit all of this on the team at the same time? I don't know. Just thinking. Or I can just use someone else's Sarah. Because I want to do a good test on this one. I don't think anyone has one though. I don't need to use summon spirits, but I like it a lot. Yeah, I guess. I could go with this. I think I'll try this. Yeah. Let's try this, see how this does. I think this should be okay. The goal that I have is just to see how much damage I can do when he uses his time stop skill. It could be higher because I kind of should get more skill stocks. Yeah, this guy is the one I wanted to do. I expect this to do pretty decent, but I don't know. Could be better dual wield too. Do Theopolis. Honey Elixir. Summon spirits. Now we're ready. Look at all those debuffs. Gotta love it. It's great. Now, he's got 8 mil HP, right? Yeah. How much will he do with just this once this runs out? I just want to see how much this would do. So I'm going to try and spam mostly as skill 3 and skill 2 to see how much this does. Now I've run out of skill 2s and 3s. They came out. See, that was like 7 mil-ish, which isn't crazy good, but you've got to remember that this is base skills as well, so this could definitely be a lot higher, and I think the most viable option would be dual wield if you're doing something like this. So if you had dual wields and all the damage cap increases and everything like that, and a full build, this would definitely kill this boss, I believe, for sure. Might as well use the special now, right? Why not? Finish it off, maybe. Yep. See, it's not bad. You could use your special and your skill and try and just clear everyone like that. Try and abuse the time stop if you wanted to. Pretty fun. See, that only took 2 seconds. Apparently. Is there any more tests that I want to do? Well, yes, but I don't think there's really anything else I can do right now, because I kind of need to build him properly to test him out fully. So, I can't really do any more showcases for him, I think. Mostly what I can do is talk more about his potential and where I think he'll be useful and stuff like that. That would kind of probably be in the conclusion. I don't think we've got there yet. So, I guess we'll talk about him a bit more later. What I want to talk about now is I want to go over the 6th Enhance units that they've, or at least the 6th Enhance that they've made in this update. Main one being Granadus. I'm gonna have to do this again. So, these units, right, these are the main 3 right here. These 3. I'm most excited about Granadus. I don't know why they're doing him right now, because he's still pretty good. This is just making him more tanky. I really want to get his 6th Enhance as soon as possible, because physical damage taken minus 15%, magic damage taken minus 15%, damage taken 10%, 10%. This is so good. I think if you get these 4 skills for Granadus and the 10 SC from 6th Enhance, he's going to be amazing. Even better than he is right now, because he's still pretty tanky right now. So, I am definitely going to focus on getting this as soon as possible. I definitely want to get this. Now, Rover Medine I've been using recently, but I've mostly been using her as a support slash tank, so the damage caps and stuff here aren't really going to be useful, but the physical damage taken minus 15% will definitely be useful for sure if you use her as a support slash tank like what I'm doing. And the 10 extra SC you get from the 6th Enhance and the extra stats and stuff is still going to be a bonus on top of that, so I think Rover Medine's definitely worth getting to 6th Enhance if you do use her as a support a lot. I'm currently using her in Arena, and I've used her in Guild vs Guild as well, so for me personally, I feel like getting her 6th Enhance just for this, and her 10 extra SC and some stats is worth it for me, but I just need them to get those materials. I personally would say Granadus is the #1 unit you should get for 6th Enhance first, because if you've got him, this could make him an insane tank. He already was strong enough, but these just add so much more. In total, it's like 35% less damage taken from magic and physical attacks. Very good, for sure. And he's going to get more SC and more health and stuff like that for more stats. And then we've also got Tinkili. which I was talking about earlier, she actually has some good Sixth Enhance buffs, and she is still used because she's used for her damage caps and her supportive skills. So, here's one thing. Talk about her Sixth Enhance first. She gets less magic damage taken, physical damage taken, less damage taken, less damage taken. This is basically the same as Granados, right? This isn't super important because if you just use her like I use her as a support, then you don't really need to take less damage because she isn't really used in PvP or hard content. I usually just only use her for testing purposes and that's it. Buff duration is pretty good for long battles, but again, it's not really that important, so now I'm thinking about it, her 6th Enhance itself isn't amazing, but you do get some more SC. It's just, I don't think she really needs the 6th Enhance. What she is going to benefit from the most though is the changes to her special from improving her special, awakening her. It's going to boost the buff effect of her special. Same with Granados too, but I think Tinkili in particular, I believe this should increase the damage cap you get from her special when you awaken her, so this is something to consider as well, maybe. It depends on how much you use this unit. If you don't really use her, or if you don't really care, then you don't really need to worry about Tinkili at all. But Medine and Granados are two you should think about, or at least Granados. If you don't use Medine, then it's not a big deal, but Granados, I recommend, if you've got Granados, you definitely should get a Sixth Enhance, because he is very good, and we don't have many tanks. Definitely worth getting him. That's the main thing I want to talk about here, is just Granados. So, press this magic button. Let me have a look at Granados. I do have materials right now, but I don't know if I want to get him Sixth Enhance yet. I'm considering it. I've already passed him. I could get him Sixth Enhance right now, but this Visionary Splendor, I don't know if I need this for any of the collab units, because I might. I'm just thinking about it though. Granados would technically be the most value for your 6th Enhanced materials, so I think I should get this right now. So I'm going to get this right now. Just to prove that I think Granados E6 is going to be amazing. Definitely worth this. Now let's have a look at his abilities first of all. So I'm not going to do this right now, I just want to have a look at what's in here. Obviously the 10 SC, definitely worth getting that. I need these, I can get those later. I do have enough to get that. Don't get the skill damage caps because he's not really going to be a DPS. If you're using him as a support on for your friend list and you're using him as a DPS, then you could do this if you want. I can see some people doing that because some people use him for just the extra XP and they turn him into single wield DPS. You could get these if you want, but for me, I don't use him for that case, so I just use him for a tank. Here's 2 damage reduction skills. Definitely get those. This path even gives defense too. Amazing. This path you could get 1000 more HP. I would definitely get that, even though it's only just a stat increase. If you've got extra materials, you might as well do that, and this path. Even more health. That's pretty good. So yeah, definitely recommend to get his enhance as soon as possible. I'm going to work on that later, not right now. But once I have him 6th enhance, I'm probably going to mess around with him in arena again, and see how well he does now compared to before, because I think he's going to be amazing now. And his awaken, I can actually check this. Give a well-eye skill and special damage taken minus 50%, it goes up to 55%. That's okay. I don't really use this special much, so I don't really recommend that. The problem with Tinkili is you can't really read her special, what it does. It just says grants damage boosting effect. Grants damage boosting effect. But it does say in those notes that it does increase, it boosts the effect, so Actually, it's because she's not... This isn't the 7th and 8th Awaken yet. Let me see if it is gonna do any different. I don't... Yeah, it still says the same thing. You can't really see that it's going to change the special, but it does, trust me. It should do. I don't know by how much. That's going to be interesting to know, but I'm not going to do that. I might need more gold at some point. I'm not worried about that, I can just farm it. Nice. Get 1,000 crystals back from that. Very good. Anything else I want to do? I guess I can quickly go over the event and then kind of talk about what I think about everything so far. And then that's kind of it for now. And then I'll probably spend most of the rest of the day just farming the event, trying to build this unit, testing them out in a lot of different areas like arena and as a support unit as well. Potentially guild versus guild, I don't know. I've been using Nael in arena recently, which is pretty good. I've been using Roy too, but Nael, I still can't say her name properly, it doesn't matter. She is actually going to be better in arena now, I think, because they changed the AI of how she works, the same with V and Roy, so I put her on my defense team. I've been messing around with arena lately. Some people might have seen me just messing around with teams because I've been doing that. Put her on there. She's pretty good. I think she's going to be good in arena now. A lot better. Because the AI is not going to be as dumb. So, that's fun. For sure. And then I can check out the event a bit, but I have farmed that a bit this morning. I guess I can check how it's going so far. Because this is an interesting event. You get stamp. So, it is a kind of a multiplayer event thing. You've got these 3 here that are just normal. Do this daily. Yeah, we've always had those. Nothing in there. And then we've got all of these stages, but can't do these yet. We have to work through these. I kind of think this is interesting. It's a unique idea. We start off with stage 1, and we have to get it to 100% to be able to move on to the next base. It's quite interesting. And I did farm this a lot this morning. Make sure to farm this. This is a multiplayer kind of event thing where everyone can help with getting to the next stage. So farm this as much as possible to help progress to the next stage, because we can't beat this boss until we beat this base 8. So we need to get all the way from here to over here. I kind of like the idea of it, if I'm honest. Definitely going to be messing around with that. Just farming that a bunch. I used some pizzas. It's pizzas for energy. Kind of funny. I used some pizzas this morning and some of my permanent energy things. Refills. The event has some tickets. Make sure to get all those tickets. Like always. Always worth getting tickets. What I would recommend, in my opinion, is try to get every single part 2 ticket before next Thursday, just so you can have all of these part 2 tickets for next week. That would be good. Right now I've got 5, but I do want to get all of them, just in case we can get something from those tickets, and then we can save some crystals next week. That would be good. You need a lot of points. I do realise that what they're asking for at the moment is quite a lot, because it says 90,000 points here, right? I was only getting 190 points per clear for this stage, and it costs 2 energy. So that is a lot of energy to get 90,000 points. But I'm hoping that the next base gives more points, or it gradually gives you more points or something. I don't know. I hope so. But interesting event for sure. Training space don't need to talk much about this, just a normal event, make sure to get everything. I will be getting the prisms, and just kind of getting everything I can. Splendor is important, God Relic Prism is important, just try and get everything. What I would recommend is just get whatever you need first, and then try and empty it out with the most important materials. Like these are helpful because they just save time, so you don't need to do multiplayer. I haven't needed to do multiplayer for these materials in ages, because I just get them from the events now. Kinda good. I like that. Bunch of clusters and stuff as well. Only one ultra cluster, they're really tight on these materials. They really are. I farmed almost all day yesterday. I didn't get that many ultra clusters. I was expecting to have more, but I was just not lucky at all with those. So yeah, that's the event. The training spaces for the anniversary and stuff is still here, so make sure to use your materials if you've got any left, because I do. I'm going to need to do that soon. And yeah, I think that's everything. Might as well use my one credential for a potion, because I'm not going to use that. And then these, like I said earlier, I'm going to save these till I get enough for this temple. I'm just going to hope that I get the arc. If I don't, no big deal, but I would still like to get it. Probably not going to get the luck this time, am I? So yeah, I think that's it. Event is interesting. It's a new type event, I think. I'm definitely going to be farming it a lot. Unit's very good. I guess I can do my conclusion now. At least what I've seen so far, event looks very good. Collab, I think a lot of people are going to be happy with this collab personally, because it's got interesting units, and this unit, at least on part 1, being a supportive unit, he's going to have long-term value for sure. I can definitely see that. It depends on what we get in the future though, because if we get more support units in the future, then yes, maybe he'll be outdated, but they don't release that many supportive units, so I doubt it. His DPS, his damage isn't amazing, but that was base skills. I could definitely increase that by a lot. I definitely think he's going to rate high. Almost every single unit that releases is a good unit. Him though, I definitely feel like he's going to be on the higher end, which is unfortunate because we've had basically 4 units in a row that have all been top tier. We've had the 3 Emperors, and now we've got a collab, and I also believe that the part 2 unit is also going to be very good. 5 units in a row basically that are all very strong. Yes, you don't need them all, but there are better options. Like, in my opinion, I think Ryvern is the least important out of the 3 Emperors. Megius and Nael are probably the top 2 in my opinion. All of the UR arcs are good, but this collab, thing is, he just could be a good support for long term, and I just see good potential. 6,000 damage cap, 40% damage. Some people have been using units like Gen and other supportive units like Senku and stuff because they have supportive traits and support buffs. This guy has those supported buffs too, so take my word for it that he's going to last a long time for sure, because he's a support. In the future, when his DPS, you're not going to use him for DPS, then he's just going to be used as support, and he's still going to be good. So, yeah, definitely going to be a good unit. You may not like supportive units, but he's still going to be good, and definitely not worth missing out on. You should try to get him, but if you don't have that many crystals left, then it would be difficult. The arc, I think it's a solid arc. I've kind of talked about everything earlier, but if you get it, then it's great. If you're missing out on the Devil May Cry skill that gives you a physical damage buff at the start of battle for free SC, then this skill is going to be amazing on your account, and you would benefit a lot from this arc for sure. But don't chase for it, because I'm not going to, and just hope you get lucky. and get the unit or the arc, because they're both good, but I would probably recommend, I would say the unit's probably the best value on this banner. We've also still got this banner up though, so this banner's very good too. You've got a lot of DH units in here, a UR arc, a very strong unit that is definitely on the higher end of units. She's amazing. One of my favourite units right now. So it's difficult to decide what to pull on, but again, I can't decide for you. I can just give my, opinions on it and kind of recommendations, but it always depends on what you have on your account. So it's difficult, but what I can say is Lelouch is going to be amazing on everyone's account because this is a support. Same thing with this unit though, Nail's still amazing on everyone's account too. It's just, she can be a support. I just think Lelouch is a better support for sure and can be a tank, so yeah, he's probably more long-term value, I would say. Also got to think about there's a part 2 coming up next week, so you might want to save for that instead, just in case. If you're free to play or don't have many crystals left, then just wait until part 2 comes up and then decide between the 3 banners, the part 1, part 2 and the DOH banner. Just decide which one you want to try for, or you can just do like 110 pull on each banner or something, up to you, because I think they're all going to be good and it depends on what you need on your account. I say that all the time, but it's true. I can't really say, oh, this unit is a must-have, because no unit is a must-have in this game, apart from Spirit Maiden Thoria, but even her, you don't need her technically, it's just she's so good that it's almost there, So I think that's everything I want to talk about. Talking for 2 hours really does hurt my throat, but it's fine because I can just chill after this and farm the event and do my own stuff, so I'm saving these tickets for now. I hope they release a permanent unit soon. I really want them to. Anything else I need to do? I don't think so. I definitely want to test him out more and build him properly and all that stuff, but there's just not time in the stream right now. You wouldn't want to see me build this unit and do all that stuff because that would take too long, it would be a bit boring, and I like doing it in my own time anyway, so I guess that's it for part 1. Personally, so far I think this part 1 is pretty good. I'm quite happy with this collab, even though I don't know anything about the anime itself. I still like the collab, and it's still fun. Part 2 is going to be in a week from now, so the next stream will be next Thursday, for sure, and we should be getting the part 2 unit then. I don't know what the arc has, I don't really know any information on the unit or the arc. Only information I have is the part 2 unit is a Thunder, dual-wield DPS unit that has fast skills, so he could be a top-tier DPS unit, maybe. But his value, compared to Lelouch, I can't say yet. I'm going to have to wait until next week to kind of say that, so that's it for me. Hopefully you get lucky if you do any pulls. If you get any luck from tickets, I don't know what to say because I haven't had any ticket luck for ages. My ticket luck been terrible for a long time. Maybe that will change. Maybe I'll be able to get the arc in the next few singles. I don't know. I'm going to be saving for now. And I'll see you next Thursday. I'm going to do the timestamps for this video very soon. But for now I'm going to have a break and then probably do the timestamps later today. I can't talk properly anymore because I've been too long talking. So yeah, I think that's everything. Same time next Thursday, I believe. So yeah. Bye, I think. Don't need to talk about anything else. I would like to, but bye.